Liberal Fox News host and friend of the show, Jessica Tarlov, triggered her MAGA co-hosts into a full-fledged meltdown in an exceptionally heated debate about the second murder of an American citizen in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at the hands of the Trump administration, and her co-hosts were predictably disgusting in their sycophantic bootlicking responses and defenses of Trump. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. This debate just happened, and I will remind you that earlier today, Donald Trump effectively waved the white flag of surrender. He acknowledged that at some point, immigration authorities will be leaving Minneapolis. He has dispatched Tom Homan, the border czar, to serve as his special envoy in Minneapolis, sidelining Kristi Noem. It's been reported that Gregory Bovino, the Border Patrol head honcho, has been sent out of Minneapolis. So Homan is in, Bovino is out. The polling is atrocious. Multiple Fox News hosts, including MAGA Fox News hosts, have condemned the Trump administration's response. It's a total shit show. So you would think that Jessica's four right-wing co-hosts would be a bit more humble, a bit more cautious, a bit less acerbic. And for the most part, that's not the case. So we're going to start here with Jesse Waters, perhaps the most repulsive of the MAGA four.
The guy who brings a loaded firearm concealed into a dangerous fugitive operation is crazy. You do not bring a loaded gun and start violently and physically resisting and obstructing a manhunt. Okay? Anybody who knows, you have a concealed permit, and some guy is confronting you as federal enforcement, you say, "Here are my hands, I have a loaded weapon on me." And you wait for further instruction. You do not actively, physically resist. Now, you watch the video, and it's very, very chaotic. It may have looked like they might have disarmed this guy during the scuffle. You have
Might have? They might have disarmed him? He's a lying sack of shit. Morally inferior, can't win a fucking debate. A lying sack of shit. We've seen, I don't even need to pull up the clip because it's been in every video I put out for all intents and purposes for the past 48 hours. He was disarmed. Might have been disarmed. Might have.
Whistles blow and you can't hear anything. You hear gun, 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 gun. You know, the guy, anytime guy says gun, 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 and the subject pulls his arm back, you don't know if he's reaching. So obviously they're going to be doing a big investigation.
We've seen the video. I will remind you. He was a lawful gun owner. The gun he had was lawfully obtained. It was holstered in a small of back gun holster on his waist. He had his cell phone in his hand, not his gun. There's no evidence that at any point he reached for his gun from start to finish. A woman nearby was violently shoved by a Border Patrol agent. Alex Preddy came to pick her up. He didn't shove the agent back. He didn't get in the agent's face. He went to help her up. He was pepper sprayed by the agent. Additional agents converged. They threw Alex Preddy to the ground. There were 7 of them. When he was thrown to the ground on his hands and knees, his back was arched over, exposed. One of the agents saw the gun in the waistband holster at the small of his back. He grabbed the gun from the holster, he being the agent, and ran off with it to put distance between Preddy and the agents and the gun. The agent who shot Preddy watched all of this happen. He wasn't at the front. He wasn't away. He was standing next to the agent who disarmed Preddy. He pulls out his gun and shoots Alex Preddy multiple times. We see the video. We've seen the video. We've done analyses on the video. The agent is looking at this all happening. Jesse Waters is lying. Now, with that in mind, let's pull up some of Jessica's response, because unfortunately, I wish I could say that that was the end of the disgusting response from her 4 MAGA co-hosts, but it is not.
president was forced to make that decision because what happened to Alex Preddy, that he was murdered, was not divisive and was not partisan. It was clear as day. And there are video analyses up in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal have both done incredible reporting on this, that you can see clearly that an agent had taken his gun already. I think it's the one wearing the black coat. Then you have the guy with the gray coat. After the guy is shot, you already get 10 bullets in him, even though his hands were up. He had his phone in one hand, which you're allowed to do. You're allowed to video. The other one like this, crouched over. And then you hear another guy going, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" Well, shouldn't you know that before you kill somebody?
No.
It takes a lot.
Did you hear that? One of her co-hosts says, no, you shouldn't know that. You don't have to know. You don't have to know where a gun, you just do whatever you want, man. That's what she's up against.
It takes a lot.
No, you shouldn't.
It takes a lot to unite the NRA.
Thank God you're not a police officer, man. Just trying to imagine the number of deaths this guy would have, like, She's now become a friend, and so like when the disrespect, like it's just hard to watch sometimes. Like she's here outnumbered 4-1, and this is about a murder in broad daylight of an American citizen, and the disrespect that's levied her way by her co-host is staggering. Thank God you're not a cop, man. Thank God you're not a cop. Just trying to imagine the bigger body count that would ensue if that asshole was on the streets.
And Greg Abbott and other major conservative forces in this country against the Trump administration and the way they're doing immigration enforcement. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment have all been violated by the way that they are carrying this out. And people saw it clear as day, and that's why they responded this way. And the president, who I think most of the time has better instincts than Stephen Miller or Kristi Noem, could see this for what it was and knows that there has to be a change in course. But it's
precisely. Think about who Donald Trump is. If Donald Trump wasn't absolutely certain that he was getting his ass kicked in the court of public opinion here, this wasn't an abject, objective disaster for him, why would he be changing course? This is a guy who tends to double down even on issues that he is losing on. This is a guy who doubles down on the idea that the 2020 election was stolen. It's not like he is a stranger to doubling down on losing fights and propositions where he's dead wrong. But the only time Trump changes course to a more conciliatory direction is when he knows he's losing and he knows there's no way out. If Trump felt that he was justified in this, he would double down. Hell, Trump doubles down half the time when he knows he's not justified. But he is waving the white flag of surrender. And that is, again, just one Trump card, pun intended, that her MAGA co-host can't contend with. She should ask, why is Donald Trump doing what he's doing? If this shoot was justified, if the facts and the polling and the odds were in his favor, why is he doing this? And they would not have a good answer. But let's hear some more.
Noem could see this for what it was and knows that there has to be a change in course. But this rush to come out and say, again, like Renee Good, that he's a domestic terrorist.
But you're rushing too. You've clearly arrived at a conclusion before an investigation.
Based on watching all of the video and the president.
Have you seen the body cam video? I was unaware you had the body cam.
You know what? It's going to exonerate all the agents. You're completely right. Stephen Miller.
We have learned that there was body cam footage, but as people have pointed out, think about who the Trump administration is. Think about who comprises it. If that body cam footage exonerated this agent and vindicated the Trump administration, that shit would be out already. That shit would be leaking and sent out everywhere. The Trump administration would be like, in the interest of full transparency, since there are so many cell phone videos out there with multiple angles, here's the body cam footage of the agents in question. They haven't done that because there's nothing the Trump administration has that can change this narrative, disprove the facts, and shift things in the favor of Donald Trump. Nothing that vindicates the shoot at all. Kayleigh McEnany, the blonde there, she was a former Trump press secretary. Okay, she was like, Carolyn Levitt 1.0. And before I get to, let's hear, I guess, I think it's this one. We're gonna skip to the second clip so I can address what Kayleigh McEnany just said, but you need to hear what she says here too.
Test that should be upheld and respected, and it is not being.
Jessica, did you call for an investigation after Renee Good? You did.
Well, yeah, after...
So are you calling for an investigation now, or are you just stating a conclusion? Because it seems like you've arrived at a conclusion before an investigation.
I'm saying that Jesse said this isn't divisive. This is divisive and it's partisan, and it's not.
I
think
it is irresponsible to call someone a domestic terrorism before you have the facts.
So you agree with me?
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Stephen Miller,
but here's the point, Jessica. We've listened for 2 minutes. You are no different than Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem came out and said domestic terrorist. You are coming out and saying murderer. When you say murder, you are calling those 6 agents murderers before you have the facts. The responsible way to handle this is to say, one, it is a tragedy anytime a U.S. citizen dies. It is a tragedy that Renee Good died. It is a tragedy that Alex Preddy died. Number 2, we call for an investigation because we don't arrive at conclusions. We don't call people domestic terrorists who were killed before investigations. Disagree with the administration on that. So too does President Trump and on Renee Good.
No, well, he didn't.
So, a couple of things here. Again, this is how you know the pro-Trump, pro-MAGA position is wrong here, because McEnany, she tried to couch it, she tried to hit Jessica with it, but she conceded. She criticized the Trump administration because she knows the Trump administration fucked up, and even Kayleigh McEnany can't defend it. And Kayleigh McEnany is a former Trump propagandist in the White House as Trump press secretary, now a paid Trump propagandist at Fox News. So she has a lot of resources at her disposal, a lot of experience kissing Trump's ass, and even she is folding. She's doing it reluctantly. She's trying to lash out at the anti-Trump coalition. She's trying to go down swinging, proverbially speaking, but she folded on the substance. The Trump administration was wrong to call Alex Preddy and Renee Good a domestic terrorist. It's probably the only time, by the way, that Kayleigh McEnany has actually explicitly said that the Trump administration was wrong to do so. And she had to say it multiple times because she will never win a debate with Jessica. She will always lose. But here's the other thing that's really annoying. This idea, you're no different than Kristi Noem. Bullshit for 2 reasons. Number 1, Kristi Noem was lying. Jessica's not. Number 2, Kristi Noem said what she said about Alex Preddy before the additional footage came out. So she had fewer facts at her disposal than Jessica does now and the rest of us do now. And number 3, I'll throw this one in as a bonus. Jessica Tarlov is not the Homeland Security Secretary. She's not a government fucking official. She, like Kayleigh McEnany, is an opinion host. She is a political commentator. And I'm sorry, the standard for rushes to judgment is actually higher on government officials, state and local and federal, than political commentators. And this is where it's so stunning how you know that these people, I mean, Kayleigh's obviously pissed here. She's humiliated. She's embarrassed. She knows her cult leader is losing on this and will always lose on this, and she can never defend him. You can see the anger in her voice, the embarrassment, the shame, the guilt that she's simping for this, such that she even feels the need to criticize Trump here. But note this. When it comes to Tim Walz, the Minnesota governor, when it comes to Jacob Frey, the Minneapolis mayor, Kayleigh McEnany suddenly miraculously understands the burdens and obligations of government service. Oh my God, you need to be responsible in your rhetoric. You're a government official. You're a governor. You're a mayor. You need to tone down the rhetoric. You need to help set the stage. But what does this person do every single time it's a Republican politician at the state, local, or federal level? Then suddenly the whole obligation of politicians to be responsible in their rhetoric goes away. Then Kristi Noem, she's the Homeland Security Secretary. Well, she has about as much responsibility to be accurate, Jessica, as you do as a government official. See the standard here, how it suddenly shifts on a dime? Oh, a Democratic politician? Oh my God, they have the most responsibility. They have the greatest responsibility. They have a greater responsibility than we do here at Fox News. They have to be perfectly precise. They can't say anything incendiary or inflammatory. And we at Fox can do whatever we want. Oh, it's a Republican politician, either the president of the United States or the Homeland Security Secretary. Well, I mean, they can just kind of say whatever they want. You don't have to take them literally. And it's actually liberals who are not in government who have to be careful about what they say. You see what I'm saying? This is what I mean, where MAGA, the lifeblood of MAGA, is a cocktail of grievance, cruelty, and hypocrisy. These motherfuckers can't function if they are held to a single standard. Whatever the standard may be, they can't do it. They always lose. They are morally inferior. If you want to hold politicians to a high standard of conduct, that's great. That makes sense. But by that standard, Trump always loses because Trump is morally inferior. And Kayleigh McEnany's not dumb. She knows that. She knows Trump is more dishonest, more corrupt, more capricious, more narcissistic, more authoritarian. But she likes Trump because Trump owns the libs and she's a Republican and Trump's good for business. So what does she have to do? She has to bend the standard. Okay, if it's a Republican president, Republican politician, they can say and do whatever they want. If it's a Democrat, they have to be held to the highest standard. And if it's a Democrat who's not in office, like Jessica, just a political commentator, well, you're still held to a higher standard. It's absolutely insane to say that Jessica Tarlov and Kristi Noem are doing the same thing. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Stephen Miller saying an assassin tried to murder federal agents, and this is your response. And J.D. Vance retweeting it says something about where this administration is and how they're considering it before and after the murder of Alex Preddy. And this will go down in history as a turning point for this. Greg Bovino wouldn't be leaving tomorrow if an innocent person wasn't killed. And the double standards that are being employed for how you have to behave versus how these agents have to behave is mind-boggling to me. Kyle Rittenhouse was a conservative hero, right, for walking into a protest, actually brandishing a weapon. But this guy who had a legal permit to carry and already had his gun removed, to some people, I guess, is some sort of instigator when he was actually going to help a woman who had been pushed down and tear-gassed by ICE. We have the right to protest. That should be upheld and respected, and it is not being. They were not.
So with that said, I mean, there are other clips I want to play here. I just want to point out that this guy says he's a Second Amendment absolutist, but then says, well, you know, Alex Preddy didn't have his permit on him. He reportedly didn't have his permit on him, and that's wrong. That is, it's a $25 ticket in Minneapolis, and you can get it expunged. You just pay the fine, go back to court, and say, hey, here's my shit. They'll let it go. They'll waive it. This idea that it voids or invalidates his Second Amendment right is absurd. And there's no evidence that they asked for a permit and he refused to give it. Where was he asked to provide ID? It's so insulting, so disgusting. And we will play this one. This is how desperate these MAGA losers are right here.
But what I don't see are the 10 minutes before that happened. You call him a protester, I call him an agitator. He showed up with a cell phone. He showed up in the middle of the street, in the middle of an operation. That's common sense. I don't care what your passions are. To carry a weapon on your person and to get in the middle of a police operation, whether you believe it or not, that is lawful. 100%. Another way it could have been prevented is if there was a police cordon from Minneapolis Police Department stopping people from like Alex Preddy from getting in the middle of the operation rather than holding a sign and speaking loudly and proudly from 100 feet away.
So again, he admits that what Alex Preddy did was perfectly legal and he can't refute it. He just doesn't like the way that Alex Preddy exercised his constitutional rights and wants to insinuate that he deserved to be killed for it. Or that it's not so bad, or he had it coming. He was asking for it. Sure, he was exercising his constitutional rights, but why didn't he do it from further back? It's pathetic shit. It really is. So just want to say, again, Trump recognizes he lost. Many prominent Trump supporters have recognized Trump's lost on this. And we are seeing a shift in conduct. We'll see how long it lasts, but this was really disgusting of the four MAGA co-hosts there. Be interested to see if Dana Perina there, the other blonde at the table sitting between these two men, former George W. Bush press secretary, if she took a principled stance. But knowing Perino, I suspect she was as quiet as a church mouse. And to the extent that she pushed back, it was probably also against Jessica. So there you go, folks. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.